Leadership challenges for Keir Starmer as the UK Prime Minister is facing intense pressure to step down. Members of his own party have become more vocal about what they call a vacuum of leadership, and West Streeting, a possible challenger to Starmer, announced his resignation today.
Yesterday morning, Home Secretary Yvette Cooper walked into a cabinet meeting. By afternoon, she was standing in front of cameras calling for Keir Starmer to resign, not hinting, not suggesting, demanding, in public, on live television, her own prime minister, the man who appointed her. She looked directly into the camera and said the words, "No government survives." The prime minister has lost the confidence of his cabinet, his party, and the country. He must step down. This wasn't a backbench rebellion. This wasn't a leaked briefing. This was the Home Secretary, one of the most senior figures in government, publicly destroying her own prime minister. And what I'm about to show you is why this isn't just a political crisis. This is the complete collapse of Starmer's government happening in real time. Because when your own cabinet turns on you publicly, there's no coming back.
Will you resign, Prime Minister? Is your term over?
Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer is in trouble.
Pressure is mounting on the Prime Minister in the building behind me.
It feels honestly so far gone for Keir Starmer.
It feels now inevitable.
Less than 2 years after leading the Labour Party to a massive victory, he's hugely unpopular and now fighting to keep his job. Here's why.
Chapter 1. The moment everything broke. The cabinet meeting started normally. Ministers gathered. Starmer took his seat. The agenda was routine policy discussion. Then Yvette Cooper started speaking. According to multiple sources in the room, she didn't raise her voice. She was calm, clinical, devastating. She listed the failures systematically, the cost of living crisis getting worse under Labour, the NHS waiting lists increasing, the immigration numbers climbing, the promised growth not materializing, energy bills still crushing families. Then she delivered the blow. Prime Minister, this government has failed. You have failed. And continuing in office serves no purpose except protecting your own position. The honorable thing would be to resign. The room went silent. Cabinet ministers don't speak like this. Not to sitting prime ministers. Not in front of other ministers. This was mutiny. Starmer reportedly tried to dismiss it, told Cooper they would discuss it privately later. She refused. She stood up, walked out of the cabinet room, and within an hour, she was holding a press conference. Cooper stood alone at a podium outside the Home Office. No aides beside her. No prepared statement visible. She spoke for 8 minutes. Every word was deliberate. I accepted the role of Home Secretary believing this government would deliver change for working people. We have not delivered that change. Immigration has not been controlled. Crime continues to rise. The public's faith in law and order is collapsing, and the Prime Minister has shown neither the leadership nor the vision to address these failures. She continued, "I have repeatedly raised these concerns privately. I have been ignored. The British people deserve better than a government that manages decline. They deserve leadership that delivers results. Keir Starmer cannot provide that leadership. He must resign immediately." The political earthquake was instant. Within minutes, every major news outlet broke into regular programming. Within an hour, betting markets had shifted dramatically on Starmer's survival. Within 2 hours, other cabinet ministers were being asked if they agreed with Cooper. Chapter 2. Why she did it. Cooper's decision wasn't spontaneous. This had been building for months. Multiple sources close to the Home Secretary describe her growing frustration with Starmer's leadership. She felt he was all rhetoric and no action. The immigration issue was the breaking point. Labour promised to smash the gangs, bringing migrants across the channel. The numbers have increased since Labour took office. Small boat crossings are up. Hotel accommodation costs are rising. Public anger is intensifying. And Starmer's response has been more tough talk without results. Cooper pushed for specific policies, faster processing, more deportation flights, deals with France that actually work. She was blocked at every turn, not by opposition, by her own government's lack of decisiveness. The cost of living crisis made it worse. Labour won by promising working people would be better off. They're not. Energy bills remain high. Food costs haven't dropped. Rents keep climbing. And the government's response has been to blame the previous government while offering minimal relief. Cooper represents a northern constituency. She hears directly from voters struggling to afford basics. and she has to defend policies she knows aren't working. That creates unbearable pressure. The final straw was reportedly a meeting 2 weeks ago. Cooper presented evidence of rising public disorder, crime statistics showing increases in violent offenses, police forces warning they're overstretched. She asked for additional funding and stronger sentencing laws. Starmer refused, claimed the budget couldn't accommodate it, told her to make do with existing resources. She realized at that moment that Starmer wasn't going to let her do her job properly. And if she couldn't do her job, what was the point of being Home Secretary? Better to resign in principle than be complicit in failure. Chapter 3. The Cabinet in Chaos. Cooper's bombshell created immediate crisis for other cabinet ministers. They're now being asked a simple question. Do you agree with the Home Secretary? If they say yes, they're calling for their own prime minister to resign. If they say no, they're contradicting a senior colleague and appearing weak. Most are trying to avoid answering. Foreign Secretary David Lammy issued a brief statement. The Prime Minister has my full confidence. Notice what's missing. He didn't defend Starmer's record, didn't rebut Cooper's criticisms, just declared confidence. That's political survival, not loyalty. Chancellor Rachel Reeves went further. She defended the government's economic approach, claimed progress is being made, but even she avoided directly attacking Cooper, because Cooper's criticisms are factually accurate. Defense Secretary John Healey gave the most interesting response. He said he respects Yvette's right to express her views, but believes the government should continue. That's diplomatic language for, she has a point, but I'm not ready to blow up my career yet. Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner has been silent. Conspicuously silent. She and Starmer have a complicated relationship. She represents the left of the party. Starmer represents the center. There's tension. Her silence suggests she's waiting to see which way this breaks before committing. Junior ministers are panicking. Their careers are tied to this government. If it falls, they're out. But if they defend Starmer too strongly and he's forced out, they'll be associated with failure. So they're hedging, offering bland statements of support while privately calculating their odds. The chief whip is reportedly working the phones desperately, trying to shore up support, threatening consequences for anyone who breaks ranks. But the problem is obvious. When the Home Secretary publicly calls for resignation, threats of discipline ring hollow. Backbench MPs are in open revolt. Labor's WhatsApp groups are chaos. Some MPs backing Cooper, others defending Starmer. Many just confused about what happens next. The opposition is euphoric. Conservative leader Rishi Sunak called for an immediate vote of no confidence. Reform UK's Nigel Farage is demanding a general election. Both are capitalizing on Labour's implosion. Chapter 4. The Immigration Disaster. Cooper's specific criticism of immigration policy cuts deep because it's undeniable. Labour campaigned on controlling immigration. They promised to stop the boats. They promised to restore order to the system. None of it has happened. Small boat crossings have actually increased under Labour. The government claims this is due to weather and external factors. But voters don't care about excuses. They care about results. And the result is more migrants arriving, not fewer. The Rwanda deportation scheme, which Labour criticized mercilessly while in opposition, was cancelled immediately upon taking office. But Labour had no replacement plan, so the deterrent effect disappeared, and crossings increased. Hotel accommodation for asylum seekers is costing billions annually. Labour promised to end this. Instead, the costs have grown. The public sees this. They see migrants housed in hotels while British families struggle to afford housing. The resentment is building. Processing asylum claims was supposed to speed up. It hasn't. The backlog remains enormous. People are waiting years for decisions. During that time, they're housed at taxpayer expense. And when decisions finally come, enforcement is weak. Cooper knows all this intimately. As Home Secretary, she's responsible for immigration policy. She's the one facing questions in Parliament. She's the one getting blamed when the numbers come out. And she's the one who realizes the current approach is failing. Her public break with Starmer is partly about protecting her own reputation. She doesn't want to be the Home Secretary who presided over immigration chaos. By resigning and demanding Starmer step down, she's putting the blame where she believes it belongs, on the Prime Minister who won't let her implement effective policies. Chapter 5. The Party at War. Labour is fracturing in real time. The left wing never fully trusted Starmer. They backed Jeremy Corbyn. They view Starmer as a centrist who betrayed the party's socialist roots. Cooper's rebellion gives them ammunition. Momentum, the left-wing campaign group, released a statement supporting Cooper's call for new leadership. They're not backing Cooper specifically, but they're using the crisis to push for a leftward shift. The center of the party is terrified. They worked for years to make Labour electable after the Corbyn disasters. Starmer was supposed to be the steady, competent leader who could win power and keep it. Now he's collapsing less than a year into government. Moderate MPs are desperately trying to find a solution. Some want Starmer to reshuffle the cabinet, fire Cooper, bring in loyalists, reassert authority. Others think that would make things worse. Firing the Home Secretary for telling the truth would look like panic. The trade unions are watching carefully. They backed Starmer's leadership, but unions care about their members. Working people, if the government isn't delivering for workers, union support will evaporate. Several union leaders have made statements calling for the government to refocus on working-class priorities. That's coded language. It means they're unhappy. Starmer's internal party polling must be catastrophic. Leaders don't face public cabinet rebellions when things are going well. This happens when the party sees electoral disaster coming and panics. MPs in marginal seats are especially vulnerable. They won by small margins. If public opinion turns sharply against Labour, they'll lose their seats. So they're calculating. Stick with Starmer and possibly lose, or push him out and hope a new leader can salvage things? The parliamentary party is split. Some MPs think writing this out is possible. Others think Starmer is finished, and delay only makes things worse. The Labour Party conference, coming up in a few months, will be a nightmare if this isn't resolved. Cooper will likely attend as a hero to many members. Starmer will face hostile questioning. The optics will be devastating. Last. Outro. Yvette Cooper's press conference yesterday lasted 8 minutes. Those 8 minutes might have ended Keir Starmer's premiership. Because when your own Home Secretary looks into a camera and demands you resign, the government is over. The only question is how long it takes to acknowledge that reality. Starmer can fight, he can reshuffle, he can try to survive, but the fundamental problem remains. His government is failing. Immigration is out of control. The cost of living crisis persists. Working people aren't better off. And now his own cabinet is publicly admitting it. Labour won the last election promising change. Working families believed them. Those families are discovering nothing changed. Bills are still unaffordable. Immigration is still rising. And the party that was supposed to be different is managing decline just like the Conservatives did. Cooper's rebellion is the visible crack in a structure that's been weakening for months. Other cracks will follow. More cabinet ministers questioning leadership. More backbenchers demanding change. More voters abandoning hope. The government that was supposed to rebuild Britain is breaking down, publicly, dramatically, irreversibly. And the man responsible is still sitting in Downing Street pretending everything will be fine. It won't be. Because when the Home Secretary calls for your resignation on live television, you're already finished. The only question is whether you leave with dignity or get dragged out fighting. Right now, Starmer looks like he'll fight, which means the collapse will be uglier, longer, and more damaging to Labour's future. The government broke yesterday. We're just watching the pieces fall.